Sri Lanka is facing its worst economic crisis since its independence. But just how did the situation get this bad? There has been economic mismanagement by successive governments, which created a twin deficit, which indicates its national expenditure exceeds its national income and the country does not produce enough tradable goods and services. But the situation got worse due to a range of factors. In November 2019, Gotabaya Rajapaksa announced sweeping tax cuts before the parliamentary election in a few months. And in April 2021, there was the government's push for organic farming, which hit the farm output. On top of all this, the pandemic severely hit the other sources of income, like the tourism sector and the foreign workers' remittances. The credit rating agencies had downgraded Sri Lanka, locking it out of the international capital markets on which it relied to pay its debt obligations. So it started using its foreign reserves for that, which meant there wasn't enough foreign currency to pay for the essential imports, which resulted in the shortages on the ground.
ඩීසල් නැහැ, පෙට්‍රල් නැහැ, අපහසුතාවය තමයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දෙන්න මම ත්‍රිවිල් එකක් තමයි මම හයර් කරේ. හයර් නැහැ, මිනිස්සුන්ට සල්ලි නැහැ. හයර් අපිට යන්නත් බෑ. හයර් යන්නත් බෑ, මේ මිල වැඩියෙන් අපිට ගන්න වෙලානේ. තෙල් වල යන මිල විදියට ගන්න වෙලා. ඒකට ඉන්න අමාරුයි කියලා මේ මොනව කරන්නද ඉඳලා එපාය ගන්න නැත්තම් තෙල් ටික ගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. පැයක් විතර තෙල් තියෙනවා, ඒකත් පොලිමේ ඉඳලා පමණක් වෙලාවට තෙල් ඉවර වෙනවා. ඒම අපහසුතාවයක් තමයි එන්නේ. මේක ඉතින් මේක මගාරවන්න මේ කවුරුත් නැහැ. ඉතින් ඉදිරිපත් ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉන්නවද මැරිලත් දන්නේ. සත්‍යයක් නැහැ කිසි දෙයකට. කන කෑම ගන්න ගත්තත් යාමට උටස් ගාලා ලයිට් යනවා. හරිම තරහක් දුකක් වේදනාවක් ඇති වෙනවා. කුප්පිලාම්බුවක් තමයි ඉතින් ඉස්සර තිබුණා වගේ කුප්පිලාම්බුවක් තමයි පත්තු කරගන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
Well, this has become a daily occurrence for millions of Sri Lankans. A short while ago, the power went and it won't come back for several hours. And families across the country are having to contend with these regular power cuts, including Kusamavati, who's had to cook by kerosene light, and they're going to have dinner by kerosene light as well.
දැන් දවසක් කන්න බෑ රුපියල් 1000ක් මදි දවස ජීවත් අපි දෙන්නට ජීවත් වෙන්න දවසකට රුපියල් 1000 මදි රුපියල් 3000ක් 2000ක් අතර ගාන දවසට අපි දෙන්නට ජීවත් වෙන්න තියෙනවා
දවසට උදේට කෑම වේලක් දවල්ට මොනවා දෙවේලක් කන්නේත් බොහොම අමාරුවෙන් තමයි
ඉතින් චුට්ටක් දැන් තියෙන්නේ මේලට එක්ක මේ රජය වෙනස් කළ ඡන්දයක් කර තියලා වෙන රජයක් පත් කර ගන්න එකයි තියෙන්නේ අපිට දැන් ඉතින් කියන්න අපේ දෙවියන් වහන්සේ තමයි ඉන්නේ අපිට කියන්නේ.
The sacred city of Kandy in the heart of Sri Lanka gets the busiest during this time of year as people prepare for one of the biggest festivals in the country, the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. But the surging prices in the country are dampening this year's preparations. These firecrackers that used to be the best seller every year fail to find any buyers.
Things are expensive. Rather than spending their money on firecrackers, people would rather spend it on rice, sugar and essentials. I'm selling these for 80 cents each. People would rather buy a kilo of rice with that money.
At a time when Sri Lankans are struggling to meet their daily needs, it is unimaginable to plan anything special.
Oh no, it's unbearable. My goodness, I'm paying almost double the price compared to the last year.
An acute fuel shortage is causing rolling power cuts lasting up to 10 hours and hurting the tourism industry, the biggest foreign currency earner in the country. Small guest house owners are constantly looking for ways to stay afloat.
Earlier, we are using this as a decoration. After this crisis started, we started to light these lamps, but unfortunately, we are shortage of kerosene oil.
No electricity means no air conditioner, mosquito repeller or refrigerator.
It's very expensive these days, all the food items. The price have gone double and wastage also have gone double.
The world famous Ceylon tea is also hanging by a thread. In a bid to become the world's first entirely organic farming nation last year, the government imposed a sudden ban on fertilizer imports that drastically affected tea production. And now, with the country's limited foreign reserves, fertilizer imports are disrupted.
The price was very less and the fertilizer was subsidized, and it was given at about 1,500 rupees per bag, that's 50 kg. Now what the information we get from our suppliers is it's about 15,000 rupees per 50 kg bag.
Until these industries suffer, it's hard for Sri Lanka to pull out of the economic turmoil.
Angry, frustrated and desperate, protesters surround the president's office in Colombo under the eyes of the police. Sri Lanka is facing its worst economic crisis in decades. All Saturday the protesters kept coming, most of them young people, in what's reported to be the biggest protest over the crisis to date.
They are public servants, so we are here to say that our voices needs to be heard and it needs to be respected, and this crisis needs to end now because it has gone up to the limit that where people cannot bear anymore.
The crowds came from all of Sri Lanka's diverse communities. This poster reads, "Give our stolen money back." And this says, "Corrupt rulers are playing with our future." In recent weeks, the price of essential goods rocketed and cooking gas and fuel became scarce. Power cuts last up to 13 hours. Economists say a massive drop in tourism revenue due to the Easter bombing of 2019 and the pandemic, coupled with a loss of government revenue due to a major pre-election tax cut, are to blame. Now there's not enough foreign currency for the government to buy essentials.
There's only one way out of this crisis. The Rajapakshas has to be removed from the positions, and then only we can see some sort of a credible political stability in the country, and with the political stability only the economic sustainability will come into the country.
The government is requesting a bailout from the International Monetary Fund and also seeking financial assistance from India, China and other friendly countries.
The government has described demonstrators as extremists, accusing them of being politically manipulated. While a very few may fit this description, a vast majority of the thousands of protesters have turned up voluntarily. They say they want their futures back, and Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the government must go. Minel Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.